وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا امْرَأَةَ فِرْعَوْنَ. And Allah gives another example, of believing women, or for those who believe as an encouragement, the wife of Fir'aun. إِذْ قَالَتْ, when she said, now where's the wife of Fir'aun living? She's living in a house so stable that it's still around. It's still a tourist attraction. She's living in she is a queen in one of the greatest empires in human history. Great civilizations of the world, I've mentioned multiple times, mimic themselves behind the Egyptian empire. The US dollar bill has the pyramid on it, because the founding fathers recognized the greatness of that civilization as far as its political and advancement. Other kings used to send their children to get educated in Egypt back in the day. The Greeks and the Romans built their columns in their colosseums. They built them inspired by Egyptian architecture. They wanted to mimic what the Egyptians had done. And she was a queen at the peak of that empire. If anybody has the opportunity to live the life, to do whatever she wants, it's her. You can do whatever she wants. Open license. But you know what? You could be wrapped up in so much dunya. I would doubt there will be a woman wrapped in so much dunya ever again. She's wrapped in so much luxury, so much protection, so much, power, and yet her heart is not content with any of it. She's not there for dunya. She's not there for it. She wants something else. And she's living in probably one of the greatest homes ever built on this planet, architecturally. Ever built. And she says to Allah, Rabbi ibni li indaka baytan in Jannah. Master, build me a house in Jannah. With you. Somewhere near you. I have this guy, he calls himself Rabb. I don't want to live with him. Give me a house near you. You're the real Rabb. وَنَجِّنِي مِن فِرْعَوْنَ. Rescue me from Fir'aun. وَعَمَلِهِ. And rescue me from his work, from the things that he does. وَنَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. And rescue me from the wrongdoing nation. You know what's beautiful about this dua? Rescue me from the wrongdoing nation. She, in her earlier career, took hold of Musa, alayhi salam. Remember that? So she has a part in raising Musa, alayhi salam. And we're learning few things about Asiya radiallahu anha, very few things. And one of the few things we learned about her is she made dua to Allah and she said, Allah, rescue me from the wrongdoing nation. And if there's one thing a mother, even a stepmother, will teach her child is what? Dua. One of the ways to get close to Allah. Musa alayhi salam, before revelation, before the mountain, the book, all of that, before revelation, you remember that he committed a murder by accident? And then the guardian came. I haven't done story night yet, but give you a little taste. Guardian came, told him, you have to get out of this city. He's running away from the city. فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبْ قَالَ رَبِّ نَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Musa alayhi salam said, as he's running away from the city, getting away from the Egyptians, he says, Rabbi najini min al-qawmi al-zalimin. Who's already made this dua? Stepmom. Where'd he get it from? No accidents in Quran. There's no accidents in Quran. She knows to teach him this. This boy is being raised in a castle. He could live the life too, by the way. But he's got a good role model. We're learning the lesson. قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ. Now save yourselves and your family from the hellfire. Well, she saw Musa as her family too. So she tried to give him da'wah too. She tried to teach him and had a role in his tarbiyah also. Subhanallah. So Rabbi najini min al-qawmi al-zalimin. وَمَرْيَمْ. Finally Maryam, ibnata Imran, the daughter of Imran. التي أحصنت فرجها, the one who protected her privates. She guarded her shame. She was extra cautious about her haya. فَنَفَخْنَا فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِنَا. Then we blew into it from our ruh. We blew into it, meaning Isa alayhi salam. وَصَدَّقَتْ بِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّهَا. And she confirmed the words of her master. Meaning the final instructions of Allah that came to her, you're going to have a son, it's traumatic for you, Surah Maryam, it's going to be really traumatic, but you're going to have him, and you're going to confirm this truth. And even Ahsanat Farja, even when the angel came, she said, A'udhu birrahmani mink in kunta taqiyya. She got that scared. But Allah says, وَصَدَّقَتْ بِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّهَا وَكُتُبِهِ. And she even confirmed his books. Not books. Maryam Salamun Alayha was a scholar of Tawrat and Zabur and Injil. She confirmed his books, plural. If it was just Tawrat and Zabur, we would say Kitabayhi. Plural. She even learned the book her son was given. She mastered them. She confirmed the truth in all of them. وَكَانَتْ مِنَ الْقَانِتِينَ. And she was from those that were subservient. Subservience is mentioned, obedience and loyalty is mentioned at the end, even though she's not even married. Usually people take the word qunut or qanita and they think it's subservient to the husband, right? But Allah is teaching us here, she's not even married. Why is He mentioning qanitat for her? Or kanat min al-qanitin? Why? Because first subservience is to Allah Azza wa Jal. And through it, He's teaching the mothers of the believers, who the beginning of the surah was about, your qunut to the Prophet ﷺ is directly related to your qunut to Allah Azza wa Jal. Now I'll tell you an insight about this surah and we'll conclude. This surah at the end mentions 3 categories of women. There's a great husband, which means a great family environment, and terrible, terrible, terrible wife. 2 cases. Which 2 cases are these? Nuh and Lut. Then you have the exact opposite. You have an awesome woman in a terrible, terrible environment. What is that? Pharaoh. So you have in one case, great environment, terrible wife. The environment didn't help her. In the other one, terrible environment, great woman, the environment didn't corrupt her. Then you have great environment and great woman. Maryam Salamun Alayha. Great environment. What's the great environment? Zakaria is taking care of her. She's at Al-Aqsa. She's at the house of Allah. She's guarding her shame. She's learning the book of Allah. She's in a great environment. Her upbringing is great and her character is great. Both of those great things came together. And she got an education in the books on top of all of that. What's really beautiful is there are actually 2 examples of great women in great environments. The surah begins with them and ends with them. The surah began with the mothers of the believers. And they're also an example of great women in great environment. And it ends with great women and great environment. And what's the contrast between them is also beautiful. One, where the environment is a product of marriage, but the other is an environment of good, a good kafil, upbringing. Even if they're not married, doesn't mean that they can't achieve greatness. Both situations of greatness are mentioned, subhanAllah. But there's one scenario that's left. There's positive, negative, negative, positive, positive, positive. What's missing? Negative, negative. That is so bad that it doesn't even get put in this surah. It's actually a surah by itself. Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. Surah Lahab, horrible husband, horrible wife, وَامْرَأَتُهُ حَمَّالَةَ الْحَطَبِ. Both of them together, they deserve each other, so they got a surah by themselves. That is just about how terrible they are. Their mention is not infecting this beautiful surah. SubhanAllah. So they're mentioned by themselves. But all of these scenarios are now laid out. And these are actually templates for the kinds of marriages that are going to happen, or the kinds of situations that is going to happen in this world. And so, as we conclude this surah, the quality that has been mentioned, it was alluded to in the first passage. It was brought up when Allah said the replacement wives will have these qualities. And then it's mentioned with Maryam Salamun Alayha at the end is qunut, subservient. So I'll have a little bit of a conversation with you guys about subservience and we're done. 3 minutes tops, inshallah. And that is, in a household, after, post-feminist revolution and all of that, I can do anything, you can do better, I can do anything better than you. No, you can't, yes I can, all of that, right? So women can join the army, women can have their, they can play basketball or whatever, and they can do all this stuff. Great, wonderful, no problem. In the household, Allah Azza wa Jal set a certain organizational structure. This is Allah's doing. I'm sorry. I have nothing to do with this. This is revelation. Allah Azza wa Jalla, the first human being that was sent on this earth, was not sent alone. He was sent with his wife. And even in Jannah, he wasn't alone. He was with his wife. And when Allah mentions him, Allah says, Ya Adam uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannah. Very strange construction. Uskun is a command. فَعِلُهُ ضَمِيرٌ مُسْتَتِرٌ تَقْدِيرُهُ أَنْتَ. Uskun anta. But then another fa'il is mentioned, even though it's amr. وَزَوْجُكَ. زَوْجُكَ مَرْفُوع. Settle down. You and your wife. But the command to settle down was given to who? To Adam. To Adam. Now, بالعربية نقول خير الكلام ما قل ودل. أليست هذه القاعدة؟ فإذا قلنا اسكنا في الجنة. Settle down, both of you in Jannah. You could say that. The problem is الكلام أقل ولكن ليس أدل. To say uskuna is less, but it doesn't communicate what needs to be communicated. The condition isn't just the speech should be less. It should be qalla, but it should also be dalla. It wouldn't be dalla anymore. It wouldn't indicate that the head of the household is Adam. He was told, you settle down and make sure your wife settles down. He didn't address the wife. Addressing the head of the household is enough. Now look, the community is like a household, and the father of that household is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How does the previous surah begin? The entire community is to be addressed, but it's enough to address the father of the community. So what does Allah do? Ya ayyuhan nabi, idha talaqtumun nisa. Prophet, when all of you divorce your wives. The transition is there because he's the head of the household. If we are, the entire ummah is a household, he's the father. So if he's given the instruction, it trickles down to everybody. Allah set that structure in the unit of the family. Now this is not, first of all, this is the general principle. What makes exceptions to this? Allah even mentioned here, you have a woman that's begging for escape from her husband. She's begging for escape. You have those situations too. And you have variant. These are extremes that are mentioned in the Quran, and every variation in between will exist. Every variation. You'll have abusive husbands, you'll have abusive wives. You'll have good husbands, you'll have good wives. You'll have okay husbands, so wives. It'll happen. All these variations will exist. But the general principle, you do not run away from it. You don't say, well, yeah, that's there in the ideal circumstance, but my family situation is a little different. My situation is a little different. The husband, at the end of the day, is an amir. We don't understand what amir means. Amir does not mean absolute boss. Amir does, however, mean leader. It does mean the one who holds the final decision. And a household cannot function if he's not allowed to make the final decision. And it cannot function if the wife does not trust his decision. It can't function. It doesn't work if he makes decisions and then she undermines his decisions. If he tells the children, don't do this, and when he's gone, the wife says, it's okay, you can do it. It doesn't work. Then the children learn not to respect either parent's authority because they know that they just fight each other and we'll squeeze out of the middle. That's what happens. A family is destroyed when structure is broken. Now, what is imara? Imara, I've talked about leadership and the Muslims work together thing. It applies to husbands too. As a husband, Sayyidul Qawm Khadimuhum, the leader of a nation is their servant. When an Amir is a real Amir, he takes care of his wife and his children so well that he never even has to argue to get his point obeyed. He commands so much respect in the way he carries himself, in the way he deals with them with love and courtesy, with forgiveness, that they would hate to disappoint him, not to get him angry, because he doesn't get angry. وَإِن تَعْفُوا وَتَصْفَحُوا وَتَغْفِرُوا. He doesn't get angry. You becoming Amir is not license for you to get angry. That's the last resort, and that's not a sunnah anyway. Rare occasions the Prophet ﷺ would get angry. And by the way, his anger was silence. Just so you know, if you want to be sunnah, then be a sunni and be quiet when you're angry. Just do that. But if he does his job as an Amir, then the wife's job is not to take advantage of that. Because the prophetic model of being patient and forgiving leaves the leash a little loose. And when it's even a little bit loose, it can be taken advantage of. What happened in this surah? It was a chance it might be taken advantage of. Allah revealed ayat, it better not get taken advantage of. Because if you start ganging on him, because he's so nice, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ مَوْلَاهُ وَجِبْرِيلٌ وَصَالِحُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمَلَائِكَ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ ظَهِيرٌ. In the case of the Prophet ﷺ, Allah would not let that happen. But in any other case, when the husband's going to be soft and he's commanded to be courteous, there's a possibility on the wife's side that she might take advantage of that. So he doesn't say anything. It's okay, I can do whatever I want. Just because he doesn't say anything doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. Just because he doesn't yell and scream doesn't mean you have open license. There has to be a respect for his request. If it's not obeyed, there should be sensitivity to it. On the husband's side, there needs to be a real education. What does it mean to lead a family? What does that mean? And on the wife's side, what does it mean to be qanitat to Allah and to the husband? Supportive. All of this happens when healthy shura happens. That's the last comment I'll make. How do both sides understand their role? You see, there is not a human being on the face of this earth that likes being told what to do. Nobody on this earth likes it. That means men and women don't like being told what to do. They just don't like it. It's in our code. So if you're telling your wife to do something and she doesn't like doing it, you're like, qanitat. Don't you know the ayah? You know? It's natural. It's natural to not want to listen to somebody else. It takes work. It takes a lot of work. And you have to be sensitive to that. That if you were in that position, I don't know how you would do. I don't know how I would do. Give as little instruction as possible. And only give instruction when instruction is absolutely necessary. Be as independent as you can be. If the Prophet ﷺ is washing his own clothes, if he's doing his own dishes, be as independent as you can be. Expect as little as you can from your wife. Because if you expect very little, and even if she does a little bit, it'll be a miracle from God and you'll be very happy. When you expect a lot, you'll constantly be upset. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. Your life is going to be spent making a list of things she didn't do. If you learn to just become more independent, like you were before you were married, just independent, and then on top of that, take care of her needs, and you have to, if he's becoming independent, then your side has to recognize, look, he's doing so much on his own, I should try to help him out as much as I can. He does so much for the household already, and on top of that, he's taking care of his own. I should do something for him too. So that shouldn't be out of a religious obligation, it should be out of, I should do my part. I should help, you know. And don't rub it in. When you do something for the other, don't rub it in. I know I said 3 minutes. If you iron your husband's shirt, by the way, I ironed it. Don't do it. If you're gonna rub it in, just don't do it. You're better off without it. If you're gonna make him breakfast, don't bring it up. If you're gonna bring it up, don't make it. Seriously, you're better off not eating breakfast rather than hearing about it later. I even made breakfast for you. Don't do it. Same goes for you with her. You do something for her, don't bring it up. Don't bring it, just do it, and that's it. If we can keep taqwa at the heart of our marriages, that what we're doing is for the sake of Allah, and the ihsan we do to each other is an act of ibadah to Allah, then bringing it up is out of the question, because the one who needs to appreciate it already appreciated it. That's not the wife and that's not the husband, it's Allah. He appreciates the gesture that you did to another servant of Allah, another slave of Allah. That's it. That, and you'll have a happy marriage. That's not there, and you'll have a miserable marriage. May Allah Azza wa Jal give all of us happy marriages and help us remind each other to better and better ourselves. May Allah Azza wa Jal make our husbands the best husbands and our wives the best wives and our parents the best parents and our children the best children. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikr al-Hakim.